How's it going, everybody? It's Sean here, back today to give you guys a look at two of my Pendleton Nike by You Air Force 1 Low creations. So both of these pairs were created through the Nike by You customization platform. If you guys haven't heard of Nike by You before, formerly known as Nike ID, it's a service provided by Nike on their website where you can customize your shoes based off of a given set of colors and materials. So for both of these Air Force 1s, this is in collaboration with Pendleton Woolen Mills, which is a wool manufacturing company based out of Portland, Oregon. So these pairs retailed for $140 USD each, or $180 Canadian, and from the time that I clicked order to when they arrived at my doorstep, it took about 3.5 weeks. For those of you guys who haven't tried it before, I highly recommend Nike by You. It's a really easy way to create custom kicks, and usually they get delivered within a month's time. So onto the shoes. As you guys can see, I have two unique pairs. One is more white and yellow based, and this one is more blue based. As we take a look at the toe boxes on both pairs, you'll see that on either pair, I opted for the light Pendleton Scout Stripes option. So the unique thing about this is that every pair will look a little bit different. So for example, on the blue pair, we have a bit more color with hits of yellow, red, and blue, whereas for the white and yellow pair, luck of the draw, there's not as much color on this one. Surrounding the tip of the toe box on the blue pair, we have this light graphite blue suede, but unfortunately I think this blue option is sold out, so you might have to choose another color if you're trying to replicate my pair. Covering the eye stays and the mid panel of both sides of the shoe, here we have this obsidian blue colored suede, and then stitched on top of this we have a white leather swoosh. Moving further down, we have more of that light Pendleton Scout Stripe pattern that wraps around the back heel, and you'll see that Pendleton tag hanging off the lateral side in blue and yellow. On the back heel tab, this is covered in white leather with Nike Air debossed in it, and then in the center we have this light graphite suede running down the center. When you compare this to the white and yellow pair, wrapping around the edges of the toe box on this one, I opted for a white leather. We also have white leather where the eye stays of the shoes are, and then beneath this on both sides we have this gold suede. I opted for a gold suede swoosh as well, which gives it a bit more of a tonal look, and then wrapping around the back heel, again we also have that light Pendleton Scout Stripe pattern. On the back heel, on the very top, we have gold colored suede with Nike Air debossed in the center, and then running down the bottom, we have white leather. Hanging off the shoe, they also give you this hang tag as well. So this is entirely made out of leather, and we have Nike and Pendleton wool branding. And on the Nike by You platform, you can choose to engrave certain letters, but I opted to leave it blank. Moving on to the laces, so for the white and yellow pair, I opted for a oatmeal colored lace. So these are a flat pair of laces, but they come with these black metallic lace tips. Underneath this, we have a full white leather tongue, and at the top we have the square leather tag with Nike Air debossed in the center. For the blue pair, to give it some contrast, I chose a gold pair of laces, which kind of gives off a bit of a Union Jordan vibe. And again, you'll see that these also come with metallic lace tips too. For the tongue for this pair, I don't exactly remember what I chose. I'm pretty sure it was the oatmeal leather option. And in real life, this is a bit of a tan or beige color. And at the top, again, we have this tag with Nike Air debossed in the same tonal color. Taking up the insoles, these come with your standard black Nike insole, and we have Nike Air stamped on the heel in white. So the upper of the shoe sits atop this very chunky midsole. For the blue pair, I opted for an obsidian color, but for the white and yellow pair, I made this in a sail color to give it a bit more of a vintage vibe. Encapsulated within the midsole, but not visible to the eye, there is Nike Air sole technology to give you at least some sort of cushioning. Turning the shoe over to the bottom, here we have your outsole. And as you can see, for both pairs, I chose to leave the outsole in white rubber. And in either case, we have this circular traction pattern on the forefoot and the back heel, along with Nike branding. So that breaks down the options I chose when I made both of these pairs. In either case, in terms of sizing, these fit the same to me as most of my other Air Force 1s, so for most people, that means going half size down from your true size. Even though they replaced the traditional leather with wool, I didn't notice any size differences, so go with your normal Air Force 1 size. If you haven't worn Air Force 1s before, unless you have really wide feet, you can get away with going a half size down. Next up, in terms of comfort, the Air Force 1 unfortunately isn't my favorite shoe from a comfort standpoint. It is pretty heavy in hand, and the sole is super chunky, so you feel pretty elevated off the ground as well. But with that said, this is strictly going to be just a casual use sneaker, especially during the winter and fall time. And I'll be fine for that purpose, just don't expect anything too much from a softness and step-in comfort perspective. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship on this pair, despite this being a made-to-order shoe, the quality on both of these pairs were really good. First off, the materials were much better than I expected. The suedes, the leathers, the wool panels, everything was super premium, and for a price point of $180 Canadian or $140 US, I think that this was an absolute steal. Even more so from a craftsmanship standpoint, to get these delivered in my hands within a month's time was very impressive, and both pairs I felt like were made very well, and there weren't any major issues that I had with either one. With all that out of the way, now let's lace up both these pairs and I'll show you guys how these look on feet. Honestly, I'm very impressed and very happy with both colorways. I think this white and yellow one has a bit more of a vintage vibe and it might be a little bit more wearable, whereas this blue pair, I think it really pops. I love how the color combinations work together. So between the two, it's honestly really tough to pick my favorite. I'm gonna keep both of these. And like I said earlier, the quality you get for the price you pay is very good. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about both of my Nike by You Pendleton Air Force 1 lows. Between this white and yellow pair and this blue pair, which of the two designs do you guys prefer? And if you guys have made your own Pendleton creations, tag me on Instagram. I'm very curious to see your designs. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a follow on Instagram at esco8. Check out my Twitter account at sean.go and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review and I'll catch you guys all in my next video.